out there, YouTube land and also social media lands? Welcome to an all new video. This video we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out a week ago and is a sequel to a great 2023 film, so we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss this video and any other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy this content on here, definitely check out my other social media platforms, such as X, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, TikTok. Pretty much post on these regularly, so definitely check those out. And as always, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all new video. So like I was saying before, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out a week ago and is a sequel to a 2023 film called The Super Mario Galaxy Movie. Yeah! The Super Mario Brothers Galaxy the Movie. Yeah! Super Mario Galaxy Movie. Yeah! So this new film, which is a sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie that came out a few years ago, is a kind of an extension of the first film and a sequel, but also bringing in more of other Super Mario Brothers games. Now, if you're familiar with the Super Mario Brothers games, you probably have played all different types, from when it was on regular Nintendo, to Super Nintendo, to N64, then of course to the Wii U, and then of course Switch 2. Which has, changed many, many times over the years. But one of the ones that was on the Nintendo Wii, which ended up becoming a super huge popular hit, was the game, of course, Super Mario Galaxy. And that's basically kind of what the main premise of this film is, and it basically is kind of a big portion of that video game series. And this film was just absolutely dynamic and so much fun. It was exactly what I wanted from a sequel, and it just was so much fun and so entertaining. You could take anybody to see this film, which is really great. It's for everybody. It had adult humor in it. It had just humor. It had great classic looks of the great Nintendo characters, and also it just was a really fun sequel that really added to that great original film. Plus, also, you got introduced to so many great new characters that we didn't get to see in the first film that they were able to bring in that were also a part of these games that they hadn't mentioned in the previous film as well. And it just was so well constructed too, from the animation to the writing to the soundtrack. It was all so done so well. And I just was really impressed with this film because it just was a dynamic, amazing film that really just, I was entertained from beginning to end. And I remember just sitting there watching this and going, holy crap, this actually is a movie. This is so good. And it just made me feel and want more Nintendo films, more Nintendo animated films, and made me want to play Nintendo games because it just was so nostalgic too, which was so great, seeing these great, amazing Nintendo characters and stuff like that being brought to the big screen on the, in big time. Plus also getting to see more characters that are related to different characters that were in the previous film as well is really fun too. But this movie just absolutely knocked it out of the park. I think, it is just absolutely epic and amazing, and I was just really impressed with it. I absolutely love a lot of the things that happen in this film too, because it really does give a great idea of what the certain games from the Nintendo universe are like, and what they had going on in them that they brought to the movie in this film. And I think that if you're not very familiar with Super Mario Galaxy video games, this movie will give you a really good take on what that game is about. And kind of a lot of those Super Mario Brothers games that came out during that time and era, which I believe I would say from the late 90s through the almost 2010s. I feel a lot of what was going on in this movie was, from those game period. And definitely, I mean, of course, the original classics that were on regular NES and then SNES and stuff like that, 64 and stuff like that, were also incorporated in the last two movies too. And I just was really impressed that how much they were able to get in and really show and give that great nostalgia to all these great video games that have come out over the last 30 years. and it really made the movie even more entertaining and so much fun. Plus also the great voice cast that just really brought together this amazing movie as well, and I just think that once again, it was so well directed. Now, this film, once again, is directed by a great duo that, had directed, a few other things over the years, and they really knocked it out of the park again with this film. And those are the directors known as Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic. Yeah! Horvath and Jelenic. Yeah! So Aaron and Michael did an amazing job with this film. Absolutely love what they did with this film. I think they once again brought together that great nostalgic feeling with just really great directing. They also just made a really well done film, even if it wasn't just computer or CGI. I think as a whole, even if it was a live action form, I think they would have just knocked it out of the park because they knew exactly what the Nintendo fans wanted. They gave us all those things. They gave us so many great sequences that were so Nintendo nostalgic and really brought to life the great Nintendo video games that this movie is inspired by. And plus also just getting to see all these great characters and how they developed them and how they had them bring them in and how they had them be, the hero and the bad guy and the villains and them fighting each other to try to do the best and to save the day type of deal. Just worked out really well, and I think Aaron and Michael did a great job of bringing that to life and just giving us a really great story as well. So I think they did a really great job with this film, just really knocked it out of the park and just gave us a really fantastic film that was a great addition to this great franchise. Now, if you haven't seen anything Michael and Aaron have directed, definitely check out this first film that this sequel is based off of, that which came out a few years ago, called The Super Mario Brothers Movie. Yeah! Super Mario Brothers Movie. Yeah! They just did an absolute fantastic job with this movie too. It was on point, fun. Once again, a great voice cast that just really knocked it out of the park, and just a really great nostalgic visit back to the great Nintendo world. And it just was so much fun. They brought in, of course, Bowser as the main bad guy for the first film, which was really great because he was such a big, architect and bad guy for Mario and Luigi and stuff like that in the original series. And it's just really nice to see them bring that back to life and give us this really great film that just really knocked it out of the park. If you haven't seen anything Aaron and Michael have directed, definitely check out the Super Mario Brothers movie. They did a really fantastic job. But if you haven't seen the Super Mario Galaxy movie yet, definitely check it out for their directing. They did a phenomenal, great job. I really enjoyed everything they brought to this film, and just they made such a great, fantastic film that is a nostalgic overload that just worked out so well. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out in theaters now. Worth the watch. And great directing by Aaron and Michael. So this movie has a really great voice cast. Once again, several returning from the original film with a few new additions to this great cast. All of them, I love what they did with their voices. I love how they had their characters mature, change, and differentiate from the first film. I like that they showed the growth and everything through it, and I think all of them did a great job of bringing that to life and giving us a really solid interpretation of, these characters' growth, from the last time we saw them in the first Super Mario Brothers movie. And all these people are just really great actors and actresses to begin with. I absolutely love, majority of them and anything I've seen them in. I think all of them do a great job, and they all just provide really fun, great, silly things. Now, of course, we have, to start us off, is Mr. Mario himself, Mr. Chris Pratt! Oh yeah, Chris Pratt! Woo! Chris Pratt! Yeah! So Chris Pratt, we all recognize, of course, from Parks and Rec. We recognize him from Take Me Home Tonight. You might recognize him from. You might recognize him from a few other things over the years. And he's just become a really big, great staple in this great, movie world. And I just absolutely love Chris. I think he does a great job what he brings to life to his characters. I think he's super funny. I think he can do all types of genres. And him as Mario is just absolutely fantastic. I think that he's doing a great job. Because I remember when he first heard that he was cast as Mario, I was like, he doesn't really sound like an Italian plumber to me. And, I was like thinking of something like, how is he going to do that? And, when he did, when I heard it and saw it on the big screen, I was like, wow, I'm actually impressed. I actually thought that, because I said that in the first review for the first film, I was actually really surprised. And once again, he brought it again in this one, just making it even better and funnier, and I love his woo, that Mario does and stuff like that. He does a great job doing that too. And I just was really impressed with kind of his growth of the character in this film and kind of what he did with it. And I thought he did a really great job. And I think that he just really provided some really fun greatness to his character Mario. And I think he works so well with everyone in the film. And I think him and Luigi's relationship is really on point too. They really felt like they were like brothers. And I thought that Chris did such a great job of bringing that to life and giving us that really great, just brotherly feel. And I think that he really did develop Mario even more for this film and just was really great. Now, if you haven't seen Chris Pratt and anything, definitely something to check him out and that I've really enjoyed. It's a great series that he was in that he just really knocked out of the park with. And that, of course, is the film's called The Guardians of the Galaxies. Yeah! The Guardians of the Galaxy films. Yeah! So, besides the third one, which I thought the third one was the worst of the trilogy, I think he was absolutely dynamite in all three films. I think that he really brought it in all of them, but at the same time, I think that his most powerful was really in number 2. I really think that in Volume 2, he really kicked butt the most as Star-Lord and bringing that character to life. But as the films developed and stuff like that, I just really enjoyed everything it brought to it. The only thing I had a problem with 3 is that they just made him like this sad sack of like sobbing tears basically throughout the whole thing. And it was just kind of like, this is kind of stupid, I'm sorry, but I feel there's way more to Star-Lord than this, being depressed over to Gamora type of deal. And, even though it was such kind of like a crappy iteration of his character, he still knocked it out of the park and did a really fantastic job. And he really made it more entertaining than I thought it would be, and was able to handle, with his, how well he did, and how he brought it to life and gave us that really great rendition. And I just think the Guardians of the Galaxy films really shine just how really great Chris Pratt is as an actor, because he can play, comedy. He can play dramatic. He can play action star. He plays them all so well, and I just think these films really define how good of an actor, he really is, and that he's just not a comedy king, but he's really good at all types of genres. If you haven't seen Chris Pratt, definitely check him out in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. It really shines his talent and how awesome he is. But overall, I really enjoyed what he did with Mario in the Super Mario Galaxy film. I think he did a great job once again, and just really shined and gave Mario even more greatness in this film. If you haven't seen Chris Pratt recently in anything, check him out in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. He did a really phenomenal job. So that brings me to the next person I'd like to talk about that was in a voiceover in this film. And that is none other than Miss Peach herself, Miss Anya Taylor-Joy. Oh yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy. Woo, Anya Taylor-Joy, yeah! So Anya Taylor-Joy, if you do not recognize, she's been in a buttload of things over the last 10 years. Of course, you might recognize her from Split, Glass. You might recognize her from, the Play mobile movie as a voice and in live action form. But you also might recognize her from some other things over the years. And she's just become a really great actress. I remember watching her in Split and just thinking, this girl is talented. She is amazing. And I just remember falling in love with her, characterization. I've fallen in love with her acting. And she just is a really phenomenal actress. And so when she was playing Peach, I was like, that's a really great choice, I thought. And she proved me right. She was absolutely phenomenal in the first one, and once again, she really brought Peach to life again in the second film. I love what she did with the character. I love that she developed it even more. I love that we got more of a backstory about Peach and more into the Mario lore and that, the Mario world, type of stuff. And I love that we got to, be introduced to her sister and all this kind of stuff, and I thought that Anya did such a great job approaching that so well and giving us this really great, awesome rendition of that characterization. And I just really enjoyed what she brought to the character, and she was just as fun as the first film, and I think that she developed it very well, and I love how she became even more, just awesome and like a badass and all this kind of stuff, and she just really worked it very well, and she just really knocked it out of the park and gave us a really great performance again, and really given us a even more full thought out Peach, which, because if you think about it, in the first film, we got some of Peach. We got, to know a little bit about her. We got to see her and Mario's relationship a little bit, but overall, we didn't really zone really on her and kind of how she really approached it and all that kind of good stuff. And I think that she had that opportunity in this film to really kind of define that. And I think that she did a great job of bringing that to life and giving us a really great new rendition of who Princess Peach is. So if you haven't seen Anya Taylor-Joy in anything recently, great film to check her out, and that came out a few years ago. It's a great, crazy, wazzy, crazy type of film that you're just like, what the hell did I just watch type of deal. And that is the film called The Menu. Oh yeah, The Menu, yeah. So she was absolutely dynamic in The Menu. She was fantastic, just so much fun. I think it really shined her great acting talent because she kind of had to do all kinds of different types of kind of genres to her characterization in the film, because there was a little bit of a comedic element, very dark comedic element, but at the same time it was very dramatic, but at the same time thriller-ish and all this kind of stuff. And I think that she just did a really amazing job in the film and just played the character so well. And at the same time, you're just kind of like, is she who she is, or is she something different? Like, what exactly, who is she? Like, what is her mystery about her, and that kind of deal. And she did such a great job of keeping you thinking about that throughout the entire film. I just thought it was really impressive and really fun. I just really kicked it out of the park, and I just really enjoyed it, and thought that it was just a really well-rounded performance by Anya. If you haven't seen Anya Taylor-Joy, I think definitely check out The Menu. She was really superb in it. But overall, I think she was fantastic and phenomenal in, the Super Mario Galaxy film. She really knocked it out of the park and just gave us a really great, amazing rendition that just was so much fun. Really, added to her characterization from the first film, and just really overall was just really fun throughout the film. If you haven't seen Anya Taylor-Joy in anything recently, go check her out in the Super Mario Galaxy film. She did a really phenomenal job. So that brings me to the final person I'd like to talk about that was in this film that did a voiceover. And that, of course, is the great, amazing comedic actor, Mr. Jack Black! Oh yeah, Jack Black! Woo! Jack Black, yeah! So Jack Black, you might, of course, recognize from a slew of things over the years. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. He was in Orange County. He was in School of Rock. He was in so many different things. And he's just a really great actor and just so much fun and so enjoyable. And he's just always a crack up to watch and always so much fun. And I love what he brings to life to his characters. They're always so much fun and just interesting and hilarious and just all around really fun characterizations. And he just really knocks out the park with his characters always, and he just plays them so well. And he plays such great likable guys, and you just cannot not like him. And I think that's what he brings to Bowser in this film. I think that he does a great job of breaking, even though he's supposed to be the main bad guy, like he was in the first film, he really does shine at being a likable character, even though he's, gone from being evil to kind of being nice to kind of being evil again. You're kind of like, there is some sort of, like, stuff in him that, is like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this type of deal. And I think Jack does a great job of bringing that to life and giving us this really great new Bowser that we get to see in this film. Because, of course, in the first film, he was just all bad, but then this one, we kind of get a little soft side to him. And I think that was really fun and really great and just really enjoyable. And I thought Jack did such a great job of bringing that to life and giving us this really great, fun, new characterization of the great character of Bowser. And the animation just really helps it too. It brings it along, gives us this really fun vibes. And Jack just really is such an animated guy anyways that, the animation is exactly what Jack would be doing, because he just is like that. And I love that Jack has been the voice of Bowser, and he just does such a phenomenal job playing this character. Now, if you haven't seen anything with Jack Black in it, a great film to check him out in that I have always enjoyed him in. I think he's such a great, film. And is something new that he's been in recently that I was knocked out of the park with his performance, and I just thought he was so fun. And that, of course, is a new film called Anaconda! Yeah! Anaconda! Yeah! He was absolutely phenomenal in this film. I love his characterization, being the director of trying to remake Anaconda from 1997, and he just blew it out of the park. Him, Paul Rudd were amazing together, Thandie Newton, and Steve Zahn, and they all worked so well together. But Jack was just so freaking awesome in this film. I love where he took the character. I love how he played the character off. I love how he was like this, trying to be director but not really being there, and then trying to become a director type of deal, thinking he is a director, and then having to deal with the actual consequences were just so freaking funny and awesome. And he just really knocked it out of the park and gave us this really great performance, I thought, that was very fun. And also at the same time, the comedic elements were so well done, but at the same time, I felt that there was a little bit of dramatic elements that were really well played as this character in Anaconda. And I think that, this performance will go down as one of his better roles over the years, because I just think he was such a well-rounded, performance by Jack, that he just really did a great job and just kicked it out of the park, just really knocked it out there and gave us this really phenomenal performance that I think is just so much fun. If you haven't seen Jack by anything, definitely check him out in Anaconda. He was really superb in it. But overall, I thought he was really fantastic, phenomenal in the Super Mario Galaxy film. Once again, as Bowser, he was so enjoyable, so fun, and just a great addition to this great voice cast. And he really killed it and gave us a really great performance that I think really emphasized and really even compounded upon, his performance in the first film. If you haven't seen Jack back recently in anything, go check him out in the Super Mario Galaxy film. He did a really fantastic job. So I just wanted to do a few honorable mentions of some other great voice actors in this film, such as the great Mr. Michael Keegan-Key, who is absolutely fantastic comedian and actor. He's done so many great performances and things. I loved him in Key and Peele. I loved him in several other things that he's done. He just always has been fantastic. And I just think that he really rocks it and knocks it out of the park. He's just really fun. But his performance as Toad has been awesome. I love what he's done with the voice. I love everything about what he brings to Toad. And I think he just does a great job. Then, of course, I also have to mention one of the new persons that is bringing a voice to the film series, Miss Brie Larson, who is actually voicing Princess Rosalina. And I actually, at first didn't realize that was her voiceover as she was playing this character. And she just really was good. I loved it. I thought she was perfect for Rosalina's voice. I thought it really accompanied Anna Taylor-Joy's character very well. And, I think that, she just was really fun and did a great job as Princess Rosalina. And also, it was just great to finally see that character on the big screen as well, getting to know that character even more. Then also, I have to shout out the great and awesome, another new addition to the franchise, Mr. Benny Safdie, who provides the voice of one of the characters in this as Bowser Jr. And I was like cracking up going, that was Benny Safdie's voice? I'm like, no way, he was just so freaking awesome. And I loved it. I thought the voice was so on point and fun for Bowser Jr. and just really worked really well. And I would have never guessed that was Benny Safdie's voice until I looked it up. And I was just like, wow, I can't believe that director guy, that's his voice. And I was just like really blown away. And I thought he did a really fantastic job. So I just wanted to shout out those great guys too as well, because they all did such a fun job too as well, bringing their characters' life as well. And were just really great additions to the voice cast as well. But what is the Super Mario Galaxy movie about? You're wondering probably. Or maybe you're not. I don't know. You could be. Who knows? But anyways, the premise of the film is Bowser Jr. is trying to basically recreate the world in the image that him and his father have been trying to do since, he was a little toddler. And he's trying to basically save Bowser along with getting the ultimate power to be able to create their world and take over the world. And in order to do that, he has to basically kidnap the most, strongest creature or character in the universe, and that, of course, is Princess Rosalina. And so he kidnaps Princess Rosalina, and then it's up to Peach and Mario and the rest of the gang to basically save Princess Rosalina, who Peach does not remember is her sister, and then she ends up figuring it out later on throughout the film. And so this film is just so much fun. I was really blown away by it. I thought it was so good. The animation was top-notch. Luigi is such a great character, too, who is, voiced by the great Charlie Day, who just really knocked it out of the park, too, with that character. And I think that all of them did such a great job and just made this film so much fun. And this whole idea and thought process behind bringing the Super Mario Galaxy into the franchise was such a great idea and made the film even more enjoyable and fun and really expanding the Mario universe that we already have known. and it just worked out really well and brought together such a great film. I just really enjoyed this film. I thought it was top-notch, really great, like I said, animation, great storyline, great voiceovers, great music. Everything about this film was on point, and it was so refreshing to see something that was just pure, normal, fun entertainment. And it was just fun to finally see a kids movie again that was just a kids movie. And it was so much fun to see that and be just a really great film. If you haven't seen the Super Mario Galaxy film, highly recommend check it out in theaters. So much fun, so amazing, totally worth the watch. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up on this bad boy, gonna be adding to the collection. It just was a really superb film that really knocked it out of the park, and it just was so freaking good. If you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend go check it out now in theaters. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you had been here before, don't forget to check out any older new videos you might not have seen mine yet. As always, people, huge shout out to subscribers, new and old. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. And as always, if you really want to help the channel out, want to help support the channel, make it better and awesomer for you guys, please think about subscribing to my Patreon page, where once you become a patron, you get access to all kinds of extra accoutrement you don't get here on my YouTube channel. Plus also, every month that you are a subscriber, you get to pick one movie for me to review just for you. So definitely check that out. As always, catch you next one.